Hey, welcome back to a new video. How you all doing? Hope you're all well. This morning we're still at Rob's, and it's very exciting because he's actually got a delivery. There definitely is wheels. And how long have you been waiting for them, Rob?
Weeks, months, years.
Years.
I bought these even before I bought a van.
Really?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't think you ordered them that early.
I ordered these in 2009.
Yeah. They're for Archie when he gets old.
Because I knew the coronavirus was coming.
Yeah. Let's see how quickly he can get into his box.
I've heard that before.
How dare you. Moment of truth. Yeah, they're pretty sick.
Look at that.
Shiny.
Oh, look at that massive scuff on the front.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Yeah, they look mint.
I'll do, won't they?
Happy with them?
Yeah.
Now it's to see if they actually look good on the side of the van.
No, I just need to buy some top wheels and tyres. Because there's none in stock.
The joys. Alright, so we've come outside to actually offer them up to the side of the van to see if they look good or not. I'll flip the camera around and show you it, and then you can have a look to see if they look good yourselves. Yeah, I think they look sick, man. If that's what it looked like on the side of the van. Let us know in the comments if you like them or not. If you don't like them, Rob's not going to be happy. Right, so back at the farm now. Again, another great night and day and stuff with Rob and Archie. Thanks again for the Chinese last night. It was absolutely a beaut. But we've got some hopefully exciting news.
Yeah, we were going to go look at another van.
Yep.
Liam's been looking around a bit, and we've seen one that looks alright. The MOT looks alright and promising.
Yeah, to be fair, the MOT looks really promising.
So as long as the engine's fine,
Yeah.
hopefully
should be fine.
a good one.
Yeah, basically it's about an hour and a half away. It's £3,000 and it's a Peugeot Boxer 2007, the long wheelbase L3 H2 one. And it had an MOT, I think it was 2 days ago, wasn't it? 3 days
yeah,
ago,
literally 2 days ago, and it passed with flying colours.
Yeah, no advisories.
No, there was no advisories.
No advisories or anything. And all the previous MOTs have been fine as well. Only just a couple of advisories, and it failed once on like a bulb or something like that, stupid. So it looks very, very promising. But like I said, it's an hour and a half away, so we're going to jump in Tabitha's mum's car. She's taking us down, so if we do get it, we can drive it straight back. Fingers crossed, this one goes better than the last viewings that we've had. Yes, so
Okay.
Let's get going. Right, so as you can probably tell, we're still in our van. Basically, we didn't even actually go and look at the new van. It just, yeah, it kind of all just fell apart right at the last minute, basically.
Yeah.
We were supposed to get a lift from Tabitha's mum, but none of us have had dinner and stuff, and we was all just hungry, and it was late. And Tabitha's mum had been driving a lot that day already, or today, a lot already. And we was kind of just like, we'll just leave it. We can't be bothered. It was an hour and a half drive.
So it's a 3 hour drive there and back.
Yeah, and it was about 6 o'clock, half 5 or something like that before we even gonna leave. So yeah, it was kind of just a smart decision really, just to be like, let's just leave it. It's not worth it. The van on the pictures and stuff, it looked okay, but it was nothing special.
And it's always that case, like, you never know the engine's what it's going to be like. Like that's happened the last 2 vans we've wanted to look at.
Yeah.
So now we're a bit more cautious about it, and it's just like, I'm not going to travel. Well, the limit was yesterday. We're like, we won't travel anything more than an hour.
Yeah, and this was an hour and a half. Yeah.
So it's a bit on the longer scale of what we wanted to go see.
Yeah, and it's just the fact of like, we've been speaking about it since obviously we decided not to go look at it. That we're not on it in a rush to get a new van, and we need to keep reminding ourselves that, 'cause it's easy to fall in the trap of like, oh, when you see new things, and like when we meet with Rob and Archie, and Rob's building his new van, and you're like kind of standing in there and you're walking around and you're thinking, oh, this would be mint, you know what I mean, to be able to stand up and walk around and stuff. And it would be, don't get me wrong, but like this van's perfect. Like to an extent, obviously there's issues where you can't stand up and that, but like it does everything we need.
We can live in it
easily. Like
Rocky's kind of taken home on the front 2 seats, so he's pretty cool there and chilled out. So like right now,
you wouldn't even know we had him.
Yeah,
like because we don't use the 2 front seats anyway at night, and he's on them now. So like if he wants to come in, he can kind of get through the seats, which is good, and he can get on the bed. But like we don't even notice that he's here.
No.
And I did a little bit of rearranging around actually when we got back in the van. And we've got more space at the front, like where we are now, so it's kind of good. But yeah, so we just need to keep reminding ourselves that like we're not in a mad rush, and obviously this van hasn't sold yet. And also when we was around Rob's yesterday, was actually speaking about when we got like some guy contacted us about swapping this van for a long wheelbase Sprinter, that he converted. It was like an 05 plate, so it was a bit older than this, and it had done like 200,000 miles, but it was done pretty nicely. It weren't set up exactly how we wanted it, but like it was livable, so we could have literally moved straight from this into that, had the extra room to walk around, stand up, and all that sort of stuff, and not have to sacrifice like not living in a van. I think it comes down to the fact of, like we were saying about this, like it isn't until you kind of live in a van that you realise how much freedom you have. And like when obviously we kind of didn't go and look at the van, we kind of came back to our van, this van, and was just like, we can just go anywhere, and you can just do anything, and I just don't want to give up that, even if it's just like a few weeks or like a month or something like that, while we obviously convert the new van, because we don't need to move out of this van. I don't want to give that up.
Yeah, so you're more in the mindset now of maybe actually doing like a van swap with someone.
Yeah.
Or looking for a van that's already done.
Yeah, so
you're more into this than I am. I want to just build.
Yeah, I want to build, but because we don't have the money at the minute, like free money, to be able to buy a van and to build it, like without selling this.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go back to live in a house, or obviously it's a great privilege to be able to go back to live in a house and that lot, but it's just not for us. Like after we've moved in here, it's just like we stopped at Rob's last night,
I don't sleep that well.
Yeah, it was comfy and stuff, but it was just like I don't know. Yeah,
I'm too hot in the house now. I just sweat my arse off.
Yeah, and the air just doesn't feel the same. Like it just doesn't. Yeah, it's not the same at all. Like I sleep so much better in the van. And like today, we just stood outside chatting away, and like you can see, just stood under the stars and stuff. And it's like, if I don't need to give this up, why would I give it up? Even if it's to get the benefit of having a bigger van, like why would I do that? I just don't see the trade-off isn't there for me. Like I'd rather stay in this little tiny van with a dog now as well, so it's even a smaller van, but still have the joy of living in a van. And I'm just not in at the minute, I'm not feeling like I want to give that up for any period of time.
Yeah, and Rocky's happy. Like
he's more than happy. Yeah, so you'd like to have just hit on a minute ago. I think the only way maybe at the minute that we might change is obviously we change our mind like the weather changes in England. Like we always change our mind. But right at this minute, obviously I'm speaking to the camera, and for the past few hours today, I think the only way we'd actually change it is maybe swapping the van, which is still a possibility because the guy that offered swap vans is still on the table, but it won't be happening until, if we do it won't be happening until like the end of the month or start of like October. But that's a real strong possibility, because the only things we'll have to actually do to it, I think we might have to fit a cooker, which is about £100 give or take, and then we might have to fit a diesel heater
and a solar panel.
But that's not essential because it's got like he's plumbed in a generator. He's actually plumbed it all in, so you just run it up and it's inside the actual like van, but it's plumbed in like a diesel heater, so it has like ventilation and exhaust fumes going out and stuff like that, which is pretty cool to see. So what we're basically going to do with that is, like what we was going to do is meet up with him, and then just kind of look at each of his vans and kind of go from there. But that's kind of like the idea is we could potentially swap this van for a similar sort of value, whether it's a bit more or a bit less, you know what I mean, not too fussed, but that we could move straight into, and then we could convert it, like, or change it and alter it while we're still in it, so we can still be like, I don't know, if they have like the Sprinter's got like a shower cubicle in, which we probably wouldn't use, so I was saying to Tab before, like we could just rip that out and put a log burner there. And it's things like that you could still change while you are living in it, so we don't have to give up this whole like living in a van stuff, because it's just awesome. I don't want to give it up.
I think the issue is we just don't know what we want.
Maybe, yeah.
We don't even know what kind of van we're looking at.
But I think that's big. For
we're just a bit
me,
confused, and I think we kind of want the bigger van,
but we don't want to give up the living in a van to get it.
It will obviously, if we buy the van right now, it means money will be tight as well.
Yeah, because we'll have to wait to sell this van, and then we won't be able to like fund actually converting the van until this is sold. But then it means we'd have to move back into the house while we build the new van, and that's the part that I don't want to do. Like I don't want to move back into a house ever. And it's just.
We'll hold you to that.
Yeah, hold me to it. Everyone out there, hold me to that. I will not move back into a house. Period.
Until you're old and grey and shitting yourself.
I do that anyway in the van, so it makes no difference. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, I think that's kind of this. I think at the minute I'm in the mindset of like two options: swap this van for another van that we can move straight into and alter and stuff as long as we go, or wait until we've got the money to buy a van and to at least get it so we can move into it, which wouldn't need like a hell of a lot more money.
I don't think it'll take us that long to get us to a point where we can actually get back into it.
No, I
Like,
think yeah.
Rob from Archie and me has literally spent about 8 days on his.
Yeah, and he's
Over a longer period, but he's spent about 8 days
working on it. Yeah,
and he's already at the point where he can do his electrics.
Yeah.
So I don't be thinking like
a few weeks, a
week
couple
or two,
weeks.
we could literally near enough.
Maybe,
bang it
yeah,
out.
maybe. So yeah, I mean everything's still open, but I just kind of had like a bit more of a like reflection on it all, and I was kind of like, I just don't want to give up any period of time of being in the van at all. I just love being here and the freedom and stuff it gives you. Like, we can just do what we want when we want and how we want, and no one can change or say anything about that. And that freedom is, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, even when you're having the shittest of days, you come back to the van, it's all good.
Yeah, it is.
Chill,
yeah.
I'm happy.
And obviously if you're having to settle down to go work, because obviously if you're not earning money like online or anything like that, then you're having to work from an actual place. So if you're not doing remote work, then obviously you're having to go settle down somewhere to go to work. But you don't have to do that for long. Like if you live in a van, like your expenses are so little that you don't have to do that. You can just like settle down to work for 6 months or something, and then you can easily live off that for 6 months a year. So obviously there is fors and against, but yeah, at the minute I'm kind of just
Torn.
I'm torn because I want a bigger van, but I don't want to give up what this van gives us, and that freedom and stuff. So it's a tricky one. It's definitely a tricky one. And the only way I kind of see the solution to that is either swap this van for a bigger van that we can move straight into, like I said, or wait until we've got like saved up like an extra couple grand basically, so we can buy a van and have like a couple grand to get it to a standard where we can move into it, and then sell this van to like replenish savings and stuff.
And maybe even spend a bit more on the van, because
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the vans we've been looking at as well.
it's kind of like trying to find a needle in the hay.
Yeah, because the value we thought we'd get for this van, because we thought the market price was high, which is why we kind of jumped at the chance to sell it. And because it hasn't sold as well, and we've lowered it and lowered it and lowered it, and now it's getting to a point where like it's lowered to a point where we'd lose money on it basically from what we actually spent on it.
And then it would struggle to actually build the bigger van.
Yeah, it's not that we struggle. We'd just have to buy a cheaper van, which then if you buy a cheaper van, like you kind of get what we've got, where you're kind of going to look at a van which looks fine, but there's hidden issues and like you're seeing signs and aging problems. Yeah, exactly. And then you're not really getting a van that's like you. Then again, we was thinking, well, okay, we might have to buy a cheaper van, and then only keep that for like a year or two while we save up to get a better van again. And it's kind of like it's that like circle. Yeah. So is it like maybe it's a good idea to either swap it for a van that's in good condition, that like I said before, you can obviously adjust and stuff, or just wait, and we're in a fortunate position where we can make that decision as and when we want, and then we can change it whenever we want. But yeah, that's kind of the whole thing that's happened, and why you haven't seen any footage of us going to look at a van, because we haven't. Yeah, exactly. But as you can see, we're sat in bed and we're going to watch a movie. I have no idea what we're watching. We're going to have a look in a minute.
Yeah, my eyelids, because I'm tired.
Yeah, guaranteed I'll put the movie on and have a film. Will we go on?
We still need to take the puppy out for a walk too.
I'll take the puppy out for a walk because she will be asleep. But yeah, we're going to stop waffling on.
Yeah, so we're going to end the video here. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.